Hi, good morning. It's Jeff Williams from Veterans United Against Suicide. Hope this video finds you well. It's been a while since I did one. I think it's important to keep them going, keep the pressure on. Really want to talk about the effects of PTSD on you. People are all different, and we all fit into different categories. I've witnessed, since I started recording, or we started recording as a group, veteran suicide, we've seen more than 350 people pass. And it's hard to bear. This year alone is 28. I do believe it's 30. I can't prove that. And that's only the ones that we know of. There's going to be another 5 or 6, I would imagine, which is not good figures. And again, I've said it many, many times, it's running on par now, year in, year out. Not getting any better. It appears not to be getting any worse at this moment in time. But I think you'll find there is going to be a spike at some stage, especially with the aftermath of Afghanistan. We're finding that younger people are dying. But all I ask is people, help with the awareness. It takes a lot of commitment to actually go into this arena, because it's a thankless task. There's no awards on offer. There's no thanks. You might get the odd back from your brother or your sisters, and that makes it all worthwhile. The government won't acknowledge it, even though they are completely aware now. I say we're giving them 6 years worth of statistics that we've gathered. And they're still bewildered of what to do. And then you've got Ben Wallace rattling his sabre. Looks like we might be going to war with Russia. If that happens, God help us. That's all I can say from what I can see, because one is the forces have obviously dwindled down to next to nothing. And now we expect to stand up to the might of Russia, even though I know everyone will say, well, Ukraine have done it. There's a lot of people going to pass if that's the case. So my advice to Mr. Ben Wallace would be, wind your neck in a bit, mate. We can help. We don't want to get directly involved, because we can't cope with what we've got now. Never mind a conflict like that. The mental health would just go absolutely through the roof. But what I think what I'm trying to say is, people, please do not sit on your hands and do nothing. Because it's amazing over the 6 years how many people I've seen who have not really been, they're interested and they'll like or they'll share it or whatever, but they won't make any opinions, they won't make any statements. We got Ross Kemp said something on Monday, I believe it was, and it was very good. But again, who does he mention? Combat stress and hope for heroes. I just thought, you don't know what you're talking about, Ross. Come and speak to me. Come and speak. I've asked loads of times to speak to you, and people like you, but they just will not get involved, because it's just not, it's not a nice topic, and I get that completely. But what I'm saying to my brothers and sisters, people from the civvies who have joined our ranks, people of the military family, people who just got military, people in their own family that see the after effects of war, shout out a little bit louder than you are, because let me tell you what happens. I've seen so many people who have sat in the back just watching, observing, and then as soon as it happens to somebody that they know or is close to them or a friend of a friend, all of a sudden a completely different attitude, because they see firsthand exactly what's happening. They see the aftermath that's left, the destruction of a family. I don't pretend to be able to get inside somebody's mind who's in that state. I do talk from first-hand experience, so let me say that. I'm struggling with PTSD myself, and have been for a while. And for a long time, I didn't even know. I just thought it was just normal to feel that way. But when your family and friends start looking at you and going, you're changed, there's something wrong, I can see it in your eyes, You know, you're not the happy-go-lucky person you used to be. It's then that you've got to be man enough or woman enough to go, hang on, let me just say that again. You know, if someone's kind enough to point you in the right direction, don't bite their hand. Listen to what they've got to say. But so many people want to do something, they don't know what to do. Well, badge your MP. You know, write to him. Send him an email. What's your reflections on veteran suicide? What's the government going to do about it? How many more are we expected to lose? Those type of questions. Put them on the spot. Why don't you raise it in the House of Parliament? It needs that type of pressure, and we're not getting it. We're getting good-willed people who put enormous amounts of time in. And their own personal sacrifice to raise awareness, and it needs to be more than that, because it's stuttering along. That's how it feels. I don't see that I don't see that we're in a better place, because the numbers don't suggest that. I do think we got more people involved. I do think we're training up more people. I'm doing a mental health course myself at the moment, which I hope, which I'm hoping will help me. But I'm only one man. Jules is only one lady. There's no one else. So, we need the support. We need to know we're doing the right thing. I only speak for the troops. I've got no agenda. I speak to these people and I hear their pain and I see the aftermath as well. I've seen it so many times. I could write a book about it. It's not good. The deterioration and the devastation left behind. Children traumatised. Wives broken. Mums broken. Dads bewildered. As a man, ask all the fathers out there, how do you feel if you lost your daughter? Found hung in the camp, like that poor lady last week. How's he cope with that? How do all her colleagues cope with it? How do, just everybody that's associated with it? What about the people that have to investigate it? The people that have to cut her down? It affects all those type of people. So what I'm asking is, don't leave it till the last minute when someone is hurt and dies, and then you go, oh God, I've got to do something. You should have done something before. It's never too late. Support the page. If you see something that's going to help somebody with regards to their mindset, post it on the page. I spend hours and hours and hours trying to find things that are inspirational, that are going to flick somebody's switch and go, do you know what? That's helped me, Jeff. That's helped me understand. That's helped me deal with the situation. That's what I'm looking for. But I can't be expected to do it all by myself, surely to God. There's some very intelligent people out there. There's a lot of people who I've got greatest admiration for who are now getting involved and helping. But everybody needs to be doing it. If the buddy checks are fantastic, but they're only any good if you keep them up. So the person thinks that they've got some support. Because that's the biggest thing when you speak to people. It's the loneliness. It's sad that they feel lonely. When you're in the military, there's not many times you feel lonely. Probably when you're on stag or on guard, middle of the night, by yourself in the Arctic, in the middle of nowhere. Might feel a bit lonely then. But as soon as you get into your tent sheet or whatever, or your snow hole, all of a sudden there's your buddies again. When you go outside, you haven't got that. I know so many people who are living a lonely existence. We can improve that overnight by just talking to them. Inviting them round for a pint or a cup of tea. Going out for a walk with them. Just chatting to them. Spend a lot of time doing that, and I think it helps a lot of people. But more people need to be doing it. So that's the message. Don't leave it till the last minute, folks. You know, if you are struggling, first reach out. You know, let's get you some support. Let's get you somebody to talk to. Give you a reason to hang on. If you need medical assistance, then we have to work on that as well. But your first call needs to be your doctor anyway. Just say, Doc, I'm struggling. That's what I did. I just said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm having the weirdest dreams, and I'm waking up feeling so tired and frustrated. And it was like, well, what's in it? What you dreaming about? Well, I'm dreaming about strangling a Falklands sniper or something. Or what I was dreaming about was frustration. Probably, when I left the military, I think it was not closed down properly in my head. And there was a frustration. I dreamed that I've never got all the kit. I'm back in. I've got to go on parade. I've only got one parade boot. I haven't polished my brasses. I can't find them. All the stuff that when you're in, it's your second nature. But when you're out, it's not, because it's unresolved. And that's a frustration. So there's a few things anyway, like I say. Reach out's the main one. Second is help each other. Guide each other. Let's put some positive stories out. There's so many people out there that should have a medal for their bravery, for what they've done. But I don't want to keep going on anyway. You know what I'm saying. I don't want to come across like I'm lecturing anybody. But there's nothing worse than losing a friend and realising that you've seen the signs and you didn't do nothing about it because you thought they could deal with it. I think that's what I want to leave it. Let's have a thought for the 28 families this year and the 350 families in the last 5 years that have lost somebody dear to them. And I'm not trying to be negative. It's their choice. If they do that, we can't stop. I've always said, I think it's been proven now, we can't stop 20% of the people that are totally committed to committing suicide. But the other 80% who are on the verge or thinking about it or whatever, we can save them. We can, by letting them know that somebody does actually care. As the poster says, someone to lean on. We've always been, lots of us, I don't think there's anybody out there that hasn't needed somebody's assistance at some stage or other. At the moment, a lot of our brothers and sisters need us, and we need to be there for them. That's my message. Look after yourself, everybody. Thanks very much. If anybody wants to leave any messages of support, any good stories, any success stories, I don't have to mention anybody's names. I don't want to embarrass people, but we've got to do it because the government's not doing it. They're thinking about it now. There's rumblings of we've got to do something, but we've got to sort it out ourselves in the short term. Okay? Look after yourself, everybody. All the best. If you need me, you know where I am. Jeff Williams from Veterans United Against Suicide. Thank you. Bye-bye. See ya.